Chapter 58. Ride Like Mad. It was that time of early evening when everything had a kind of orange and pink haze, like the sky was a snow cone you could bite into. "Are you sure about this?" I asked Aidan and Jed, and they both nodded as they clicked their bike helmets into place. I walked up to Jed's handlebars, lightly touching the cool metal as I spoke to him. "V's going to be so mad if she finds out what I made you do." He frowned. "You couldn't make me do anything I didn't want to." Then he shrugged his shoulders. "Besides, me would understand, because it's you." I was about to ask him what he meant, but Aidan started bouncing on his bike seat, so I shook my head and stepped back to clear the path for them. "Remember, it's Route 787, I said, and then they nodded again. Then Sam and I watched as Jed and Aidan pushed off and started pedaling, their legs pumping fast as they sped out of the front gates and took a hard left, heading towards Ocean Beach Road and Main Street. "Will they get into trouble for lying to the police?" Sam asked. I knew the real answer, but I shrugged instead. "Only if we get caught." But Sam still looked worried. He pushed his glasses up his nose roughly, which I knew meant he was fidgety and nervous. I took a deep breath and turned to him. "I'm glad you were here this year," I said. Sam's eyes widened, and I half smiled at him. I don't know what I would have done if you hadn't been around for everything." "Even the bad stuff?" he asked. I nodded once, and hard, especially for the bad stuff. And then I laughed because I couldn't believe my eyes felt shiny, and my throat felt a little raw from the emotion that wanted to come bubbling up. "I don't think I can do this without you, because I've kind of gotten used to you being around and helping me." Sam didn't say anything, but he didn't need to. We made our way back through the doors, down the corridors, and to our classroom. We stuck our heads in, and Sam said, "The coast is clear." "Coast, Mr. Murray," Mr. Curry said, and he put a hand under Nora's elbow and helped her stand. They followed us out the corridor. "The coast is clear," an idiom that was used to describe a vessel which had safely cleared the coastline. Pop chuckled as he limped after us. "I see you like to enlighten when you're nervous," he said to Mr. Curry. We went down another corridor and out the back doors to the teacher's car park. The cleaners wouldn't come for another half an hour, which was when the building would be all locked up. The lot was clear except for Pop's old ute. Mr. Curry knelt down and made a little cradle with his hands for Nora to step up to the ute bed. Pop and I steadied her until she could crawl to the middle of the bed and lie down. "You all set?" Pop asked, and she nodded. Then he and Mr. Curry pulled the tarp over her. "You two ready?" Pop asked, turning to Sam and me. When we both nodded, Pop said, "We'll see you at home, then." We watched as he and Mr. Curry climbed into the ute. Then it was just me and Sam. As soon as Pop's ute pulled out of the parking lot, we ran around the side of the building and back to the bike shed. As we started riding towards Ocean Beach Road, the whole town was covered in this kind of pink golden light, as the clouds came out to streak the sky goodbye. We rode side by side, and as fast as we could, just managing to keep Pop's white ute in sight. We could see the faint glow of blue and red police lights atop the hill. "It didn't work," Sam puffed, his legs still pumping. "It'll work," I said, even though I wasn't sure. But those lights kept flashing, and Pop's ute was heading right for them. "I didn't believe them," Sam said. As soon as Sam said that, one of the police cruisers let out a of their siren, and I swallowed down the dread that was rising up from my stomach as another rang out, followed by another, and another. And then the police cruisers started moving, just as Pop's ute sailed past. They pulled out from their parking spots and went racing down Ocean Beach Road, straight past us. "What if Lucas says no?" Sam asked, the words coming out between huffs of breath as we came to the home stretch. "He won't," I said. "But how do you know?" We turned onto our street and watched as Pop backed the ute into the driveway, so the nose was facing the street and we could sneak Nora in through the back door. Sam and I rode over the curb, dumped our bikes and helmets on the front lawn and raced to the side of the house where Pop and Mr. Curry were helping Nora down from the ute bed. Then Pop was opening the back door and I could hear the scrape of chairs as Luca and Annika stood up suddenly. "Where have you been?" came Luca's voice. "We got home and nobody was here. Where are Fred and Sam?" And then he stopped as he watched Mr. Curry walk through our back door. "So sorry to interrupt, Senior Constable Furman." And then it was Nora's turn. Sam and I each took one of her elbows to help her up the stairs. I heard the reaction to her straight away.
Oh no.
Annika breathed, and then Sam and I were coming in behind Nora. Luca and Annika were standing in the middle of the kitchen with their jaws hanging open. Pop was hobbling to take a seat at the dinner table, while Mr. Curry rushed to Nora's side. Luca's eyes landed on each of us, then swung backwards again to Pop. "Jeffrey, what is this?" he asked very quietly as we shut the door behind us. "This," Mr. Curry said as he walked Nora to our couch, "is a very bad idea."